What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back with more Danmachi. Now, today we're going to be talking real quickly about Light Zone, because a lot of you guys have asked me about this, and I'm going to be honest. Yes, I have not run these. I always wait till, like, tonight to run them, because tonight's my free night. Sometimes we do them on stream, but 7th Zone is kind of, it is what it is. Now, when we get Light Zone, especially single target Light Zone, the interesting caveat to this is we haven't had a really good dark buff in a really long time. We did get some with the what would you call it? Like the drama CD event or whatever. We did get a little bit, and that's that Osvi and that Eye. So I'm going to use those 2 units. But notice mine aren't very high level. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to try to build a team here to kind of, I won't say do the impossible, but sort of do the impossible. We're going to try to beat this as best we can with as little resources as we've got. Now, let's go ahead and jump in here, and I'll talk a little bit about the team, how the team works, and why I chose to go this route, okay? And first and foremost, you need to know Otaro is here for one reason and one reason only, and that's to do his 45% debuff. That's going to be super important. That's also why Haruhime is on the front end, because we have to get off that buff replication. Now, I'm aware it doesn't actually activate until 2nd turn. That's fine. Otaro's is actually 2 turns, so that basically means from next turn forward, we're going to have the buff replication. So when it is 1 turn left, she'll get back into the swing of things. That's going to be really, really, really important. That debuff is going to keep us alive. If we don't have that debuff, we're pretty much toast, especially with as weak as our units are. So that is one really interesting caveat here. That's why Bocce's here instead of actually fighting. Bocce's going to come in on turn 3 and then, resume what she's supposed to do. Everybody else, on the other hand, is just going to do their general buff stack. Nothing too crazy. Now, if you want to know how I'm getting rid of Otaro and Welf, because you'll notice that on turn 1, Otaro leaves, turn 2, Welf leaves, I'm using the swap anklet. If you're not sure what that is, it's called the revolving amulet, and the revolving amulet will actually, after the turn that it's first applied on, case in point, turn 1 for Otaro, turn 2 for Welf, it will cause the unit to leave and then bring in another unit. Now, since we have 6 units, that means we have 2 turns of like free and easy buffs. So it's a really, really, really handy piece of equipment. If you don't have it, check out the video on the channel. If I remember, I'll put it in the description. But I'll be honest, I rarely do remember. That said, let's get back into it. Now, for Haruhime, we're going to go ahead and do her... we don't even need the MP heal yet, so we're going to go ahead and do the debuff replication. And then we're just going to continue with general buff stacks with everybody. Now, Welf is going to do his single target buff. And that's because this is a single target foe, and we're predominantly going to be doing single target damage with Bocce, Osvi, and Eyes. So buffing the single target is a huge, huge, huge benefit. Now, if I didn't have Haruhime on the front, we would have already lost the 45% debuff. Instead, it's still right there. So that's good news. We need to keep that in play. We're going to go ahead and keep that going. Now, Osvi and Eyes are going to start doing their single target, and we're going to start our buff stack with Bocce. Okay? There we are. Perfect. Perfect. And notice we're not taking any damage now. And this is kind of the really, really, really important part of this, and why I say this strategy is so key. Because if you don't get rid of that damage, you could just, like, basically damage yourself right out of a win. So get rid of the damage, debuff it, and make sure those debuffs stay in play. That's my kind of tactic. Normally we would do 33% of engaged charge, but we're going to do that next turn. I'm going to go ahead and do Haruhime's buff, and that's just going to give everybody Strength and Magic 120%. So, actually, you know what? It's going to run out if I do it this way. I'm going to do that on turn 5. Normally, I'd do it a little bit earlier. I'm going to do it turn 5 for one big reason. But let's go ahead and do that. And then rebuff everybody's secondary attacks. So, actually, Bocce doesn't even need it yet. So, we're going to rebuff Haruhime's secondary attack, Ai's secondary attack. Osvi doesn't have one, so she's just going to stay the course. And we'll do Bocce's here in a couple of turns. So, here we go. Good stuff, this. Good stuff, this. Keep going. Keep going. Now, they're not really producing a huge amount of damage yet, and that's just based on what's happening. There is a way I could have gotten the SA on turn 3, but if I'm honest, it really isn't worthwhile, at least not for what I was doing here. There is some major benefit to that, but for this team, it wouldn't have made much of a difference at all. Getting it on turn 5 is just as good. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. That doesn't mean buff replication will not take place this turn, but it will take place next turn. Same with debuff replication, and debuffs are not running out. So next turn, we're going to have to be a little careful with that, but we'll ultimately be fine. Going back to doing single target attacks, and one thing I don't have here is I actually don't have icons on. So icons would help me see what's going on with the foe, what buffs are in place, what debuffs are in place, and all that. So I do want to make sure I keep that on so I can track what's going on. I know it doesn't look as pretty for the video, but if you can get used to that and figure out what all those things mean, you'll be much, much, much better off for it. All right. So here we go. On this turn, it's really important that you get Haruhime to redo the buff replication and debuff replication. So we're going to do skill 3. Let's see. I believe Bachi is going to rebuff on this turn. She got 2 turns left for Toxic, so we can do that next turn. Let's see. Asfi doesn't get that. Eyes has 1 turn left for Dark Mash. So we're going to go ahead and... I'm sorry, Dark Marsh. We're going to go ahead and rebuff Dark Marsh in this turn. And everybody else is doing single targets, with the exception of Haruhime, who's doing buff replication. So let's keep going. Bam! You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. Now I'm going to work up to a triple SA. I'm going to be honest, because my units kind of aren't the best for the fit for this. The SAs aren't great, but I feel like with a triple, we should be able to eke out something really nice. So let's go ahead and get back into it. Okay? She's got a rebuff Toxic Scratch, so let's go. Like I said, it's all very straightforward. There's no really, like, magic or mystery to it. It's kind of a tactic that we can all kind of wrap our heads around. Basically, you're just hiding behind the defensive structure, building up your SA, and then just trying to do as much damage as possible. Now, because Haruhime does give the 120% strength, we are going to produce a ton more damage. If we didn't have that, we would definitely be in a world of hurt. But we're good to go there. 1 turn left on Dark Marsh, so we're going to go ahead and rebuff that. And let's go. Looks like Dark Marsh is an every other turn thing, so we'll play it by ear. It actually might be more beneficial to do the single target, but I'm going to keep doing it this way because it's fair. It's successful. I mean, it's doing its job. And in a turn or two, we're actually going to get a triple, so we should be fine. And the triple, hopefully, will kind of lay all this to rest. All right, 2 turns left on that. 2 turns left on Quick Marsh, so here we go. Let's go see. Will we get the triple this turn? I think it's going to be turn 11 when we get the triple. I don't know. Let's see. We're really close. We're really close. Yeah, turn 11. All right. So we need to rebuff that and that. We're good to go there. Let's try this one more time. Now you'll notice the health bar is severely diminished. And that's just because we're focusing on doing single target attacks whenever possible. And that's really what's going to take this foe down. Now I don't know how hard the SA is going to hit, but we could try it. It's a triple. It's kind of the biggest, baddest we can get. I just kind of feel like maybe the single target base attack will do even better. But there's some good debuffs in here, so we'll just soldier on. Yeah. See, 1/4 mil. Nah. Almost half. Almost half. And Bachi, I think, is going to do another 1/4. Oh, okay. Okay. Little more than I expected, if I'm honest. Bam. All right. So, really, I don't know if that really was terribly effective. I'm going to focus on single targets just basically until we get rid of this foe. I think that's going to be the best way to just make sure that we're good. Now, we did get rid of some buff replication. I will need to go back and rebuff that. Haruhime hasn't had that in quite a bit of time. Hopefully, we would not run out of the buffs. And I think actually we might have. I think I forgot to buff that. Let's see. Oh, we got 1 turn left on that. So we're going to lose it this turn. That's okay. That's all right. That is quite all right because he's dead. And this is going to be a turn 15 kill, so... Or turn 14, turn 15. Whatever it's going to wind up being. Let's go ahead and do that. And that. Let's just see what happens here. So we're going to reapply it. Remember, with Haruhime, don't forget to keep up the buff replication. It's really easy to get stuck in what I got stuck in there with turn 3 and... I'm sorry, skill 3 and thinking like the OG, where she just does it. She actually does the buff replication on her extra attack, but we kind of saved it there. I mean, we weren't going to finish it any slower, any faster. And we got it in 15 turns. We got an S clear with a really unfavorable team. So there you guys go. It's totally doable. There's no excuses, guys. Go do this, and just fix the problem that I fixed. To be fair, though, we really didn't lose a whole lot. I caught it before it kind of evaporated and was able to use Haruhime's essay to basically rekindle it. And honestly, I think the single target damage, kind of did itself. Like maybe 1 turn earlier, but that's just with a lucky essay hit and critical and penetration. So either way, guys, we got an S clear with a really unfavorable team. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like, comment, share all the good stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one.